just get started. This will be a little bit shorter of a meeting today. We don't have Peggy from Disability Determination here today, so she told me to take notes, take any questions you guys might have for her, so that I can forward them along and get back to you. So, so welcome to the August SOAR planning meeting. We basically meet every 2 months. I know you're all probably familiar with this. We meet every 2 months to just kind of discuss the SOAR process, what's working, what's not working, how can we reach more clients, how can we make relationships with hospitals, other institutions more stable, more fluid. So let's start by just doing a introduction, just go around the room, and then we have a couple of people on GoToMeeting. We'll have you guys introduce yourselves last. So my name is Andrew Deering. I work for the Homeless Alliance of Western New York, and I'm the SOAR local lead for this area.
And I'm Karen Kisbear from Gerard Place.
Leslie Thompson, Social Security. Michelle Shy from Restoration Society.
Brianna here at Evergreen Health Services.
Great.
I can give it Matterman.
Kimberly Matterman.
Great. And then on GoToMeeting, you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Deborah McKnight from Independent Living. I'm an IL specialist.
Okay, great.
I'm Shannon Higby from Housing Options Made Easy.
All right.
And I'm Colleen Larson, also from Independent Living Care Coordinator.
Hi, Colleen. How are you?
Good. How you doing, Andrew?
Good. Okay. Great. So this is a good turnout. All right. So first, we have some new faces in the room. Megan from Matt Urban was just recently certified, so that's fantastic.
Still have to do
the fundamentals.
part, yeah.
Right. We were going to organize that once someone else. Oh, okay, great.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so we'll organize that once you guys are done with the online training. And you're from Evergreen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I know Andon, he moved to a different department,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
yep.
You're going to be doing the training?
It's me and Corinne. Corinne,
Okay.
she's going to be the first person in line, and I'll be her backup, but I don't think Corinne has completed it yet, so
Okay.
I completed it first. So
Okay.
yes,
Have you submitted it and everything?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
okay.
I got the certificate, I think, last week. Maybe.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
You are not telling me anything. All right.
Yeah, I got my little certificate.
Okay, cool. Great. So let's see. So, hello. So I just have some like basic updates, if people are new to the process, what SOAR actually is. It stands for SSI, SSDI, Outreach, Access, Recovery for people who are experiencing or at risk of homelessness. It's really just to give those clients who need an extra help completing it the support they need. It's less effective, we find, than just having them call Social Security on the phone and just doing a phone interview. So it's a lot more involved than that. And we had 2 more people walk into the room. Do we just want to introduce ourselves real quick?
Santiago is training today.
Great. Okay. Okay, great. So here is a list which I need to update again to see who is trained in SOAR as of right now. Hi. So this is everyone who's trained right now, minus a few. So our network is ever expanding. We're growing, and I think that's great. And I think we should get to know each other, kind of learn from each other's technique and this process, what works, what doesn't work, things like that. So we have Altamont Veteran Center, Girard Place, Independent Living of Genesee, and also of the Western New York affiliation. Living Opportunities of DePaul, Mad Urban, Plymouth Crossroads, Restoration Society, Spectrum, Veterans Outreach. And Shannon Higby is also certified. Yeah, they don't tell me these things. See what happens is you send in your online certification, and then the SOAR TA Center in Albany is supposed to notify the local leads so that we can organize a fundamentals training. So Shannon, I'll be reaching out to you shortly so we can organize a time to meet up, and I can give you all of the materials you'll need to complete SOAR applications.
I'm just trying to check my email because I believe they
Thank you.
put a lead
Yeah,
on
no
there, but it was a different person. Like
Oh,
when I
really?
got my certificate, I'm trying to check. They CC'd someone else in there. Let me just find it.
Okay. Well, I will definitely get on top of this. And then it's good that we have so many people trained right now who have, so the next step once you receive the online certification will be the fundamentals training. And it's going to be about like a half-day training. I'll share this with you guys. I'll pass this around. This is basically what you get. It's a packet, a resource for all of your SOAR needs, pretty much. And it also, which I will give to you right now, but in the SOAR fundamentals packet, you also get an agenda, also contacts to the Office of Disability and Social Security. So this is a very valuable resource. And Leslie was nice enough to join us today. So we're very grateful to have her with us. We also have the SOAR process, which kind of walks you through the steps. So it's a nice resource to have, and also I'm here to kind of answer any questions. So that's basically what's going to happen with the SOAR fundamentals training. And since there's a bunch of you, maybe we can organize a time where we all can meet together and do the half-day training. Great. Okay. Yeah, so who's a SOAR applicant for? I think it's good to just always kind of keep this in mind. Client, and they say they need Social Security benefits, and they fit this description. So, and also if you're familiar with the HUD definition, this definition of the demographic we're looking at is a little bit broader than your strict homeless definition by HUD. So who can be helped? Adults who are experiencing or at risk of homelessness, and who have mental illness or co-occurring disorders, or other physical disabilities. Who is homeless, moving from place to place through the month, living doubled up. That means living with friends or family, kind of bouncing around from place to place. Living in uninhabitable housing, outside or in shelters, so think your squatters, abandoned buildings, things like that. And then who is considered at risk, in unstable housing or non-permanent housing, exiting from jails or prisons with no stable place to live. Permanent housing for those recently experiencing homelessness, and youth transitioning out of foster care. So those are a couple very specific groups. We're thinking about coming up with some kind of strategy to maybe do outreach to prisons to see, because once you go into the prison system, you lose your FSI benefits. So if there's any way we can kind of flag those people once they're in the re-entry process, maybe we can hook them up with someone who's SOAR certified. Yes.
Most of the prisons are supposed to be.
Okay. So.
They might need to contact outside of their application.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. Okay, so in housing, I know with the Homeless Alliance, this round of funding, we're doing a lot with rapid rehousing and permanent supportive housing. And in order to, SOAR has been very effective to help sustain this kind of housing. So once someone who's homeless gets their own rent, gets their own apartment, having SSI or SSDI can help sustain that. So that's why we're seeing SOAR as a very valuable tool in our toolbox. Let's see. Okay, a complete SOAR packet includes the checklist, and this is my online course that I've probably handed around. But if you just want to look through it, pass it around. So the SOAR checklist has the cover sheet. It has the 6096. That's a very important form. It tells these agencies that you have the signed approval from your client to talk to security, to talk to the Office of Disability. The 827, authorization to disclose information to SSA. The 800, or there's also, you can also do some of these applications online. Okay. The MSR, that's something that's kind of special to the SOAR process. It's pretty much a narrative of your client's disability history or their history of homelessness, detailing, it pretty much details why they are unable to work, why they need these benefits. It links the disability of the client in a very kind of personal way, more than just like checkboxes on a form. All copies of medical records in chronological order. That's why we're really trying to improve relationships with hospitals. I have a resource on the Homeless Alliance's website that can really help with this. And also the say 16 and the clearly 368. So I know it's a lot of documents, but the more complete it is, the more thorough it is, the better quality it is, the more likely you are to get approval. So let's see. So I just want to go over a couple of resources. I've probably showed you guys this a million times, but I created this nifty little resource. So on the Homeless Alliance website, if you go down to SOAR, or under the COC selection, you can SOAR. And then we have our own little resource right here, kind of outlining what SOAR is, SOAR process, client eligibility, and it really just kind of walks you through the steps. How to establish a protective filing date, yeah, the SOAR packet, what's involved in the SOAR packet, and I have links to each one of the forms. You can also get these forms on the Social Security website. I'm really not trying to recreate the wheel here. These forms are available. And then here's a little local resource that has a couple of the different local hospitals in there and their authorization form. So I have everything from Erie County Medical Center to Neighborhood Health Center to Niagara County, Genesee County, Wyoming County, and Orleans. Here are a couple of useful contacts at the bottom. Let's see. So one of the things I wanted to kind of discuss with you guys is just how are we doing with promoting SOAR, or have you guys started to see any clients that you started to use this with? Have you seen any results? So yeah, open the floor.
I was SOAR certified in Texas, and I did 3 applications, and all of them went through pretty quickly. So it does work, and I know that Austin, Texas was using it pretty much with everybody. question though is, should we be doing like some sort of coordinated entry with like who's at risk the most? Because I'm in like permanent supportive housing, so I have clients who are already housed.
Right.
But should I be doing those who are homeless, currently street homeless first, or just wondering like.
Right. Of like priority of who you should be working with.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. I would say, as of right now, as of right now, just say do it for everyone as they come. But that is a very good point. And we do, like the Homeless Alliance, we do have the VI SPDAT. We do have the vulnerability index that we use. So connecting it with that might also be helpful.
Yeah.
Like, are you seeing a big backup of clients that you want to use this on?
I mean, everybody.
Okay. I'll look into that, see how we can coordinate with coordinated entry. Or I mean, I'm guessing you guys already do the assessment with all of your clients. So I mean, you could prioritize them already on their score. Yeah, that is a possibility. Does that sound like reasonable to everyone? Is everyone familiar with the coordinated entry system and the VI SPDAT?
Could you repeat that, Andrew? What you say?
Yeah. Deborah, you guys might not be as familiar, but with all of the HUD projects in Erie, we kind of prioritize clients according to a score on the VI SPDAT. And it kind of assesses the client according to how vulnerable they are, how much in danger they are, pretty much how close they are to dying on the streets, pretty much. So we're trying to assess, see if we should take priority over clients to help them get SOAR benefits. So yeah, if that I think that could be like a common practice.
Right.
And if anyone thinks that's not a good idea, or if you see any issue in that, let us know. So yeah, I would take priority over the score. Right.
Can I ask another question? I just want to be clear.
Yes.
Because I do see a lot of consumers that are homeless, but my understanding was they are to be homeless with a diagnosis of mental illness. Now, that's not the only factor, because you just read off a lot of different factors that they can qualify for the SOAR.
Right.
So do they have to have a mental health diagnosis along with their homelessness?
Right.
Basically, that is the difference for this SOAR, right?
Yeah. So the way SOAR advertises itself is that we want to reserve this process for those clients who are in highest need, right? Because it is a very intense process. And that's because the criteria for SOAR would be homeless or at risk and has a mental illness or a co-occurring disorder. Because when Social Security sees these applications, when the Office of Disability sees these applications, they're going to be saying what kind of work can this person do, or why can't this person work? And if they don't have some kind of disabling condition, then they should probably be working.
Gotcha.
Leslie, does that sound right?
That's good.
Yeah, right. They should be working. Yeah. So yeah, that's what we're saying. So that's why this process is so intense, and that's why there's a focus on homelessness as well as having a mental illness or some kind of physical disability.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Add to that, Andrew, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've kind of mentioned to us that these techniques are for anyone to use. You know, even without the label SOAR, if these techniques help a person who is in need of Social Security, then and we have the time, we should feel free to use them. Correct?
It is like a technique that, I mean, like I said before, we aren't reinventing the wheel. A lot of lawyers use this kind of technique. But if you want to get an approval and your client really can't work because of their disability, then they should be using this process. They'll be a good applicant. Yeah.
And for the SOAR, this is Leslie Thompson from Social Security. The basics for the SOAR are the same, except for the fact that usually if you come into the office and you're not homeless, we're not taking that SSA 8000. That's a full SSI application that requires us to do full development of income, resources, and living arrangement. That is not something that we engage in normally until we get the disability determination. And then at that time, we'll upgrade the application because we have to process that supposedly within 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're sending in a SOAR application with that 8,000, we're saying if this individual becomes approved, we don't have to recontact them. We can just pay them. Okay. With in any other situation where the person has a home and we can contact them if their claim is approved, we'll do that other development at that time. There's a slight difference in terms of our resources. Meaning you know, upfront for a case may not be approved until 6-7 months later versus a SOAR case, which we're hoping is going to be turned around in 90 days.
All right, so that the SSA 8000 is the real big.
Right, the SSA 8000 is the SSI application.
Right.
It's not available online. You can't do that part of it online.
Okay.
The 16, the SSA 16, which you do online, is the application for Social Security disability benefits.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody can do that online. So with your clients, you can do everything online. And then when they pull in that 16, what it will do for the office, schedule it to call the individual, take the 8001, the abbreviated SSI application by phone. So you can say yourself, you know, that because it's not a SOAR person.
Right. Okay. All right. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
And you for us like in Fund United, we work a lot with women coming from domestic violence. And many of these children, they have some kind of, you know, disability, you know, learning disability, physical disability, this kind of stuff, you know, more than the previous like the adult person.
Mm-hmm.
They start working with that, you know, but I don't know, we can use this system. I saw the adults only, or we can work with the children too.
The only working, I guess you're saying you're only working with the adults versus with the stores, with the adults, with like the children in the hospital.
Well, I think if a minor's parents are applicable for Social Security, then and correct me if I'm wrong, if the child kind of.
Well, you're saying that the child is the disabled parent.
Oh.
Situation.
Okay.
According to this, it's not a SOAR.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So right now, let me give you an example. We have a client who is already receiving children. So we're having issues and she wants us to help her, you know, help find some presence. It's going to be great here today, you know, and we're going to talk about how we can help that client. That's what we do. We are assisting yeah, out of our all for the health of children.
It wouldn't be a SOAR case because that's for adults. But every other thing about this case is something that you could do. It's have to file the disability card online. You know, fill that medical card online. And have them up to the age 27. You can then you can submit an 8,000. Oh, the child is the applicant. Yes, in this situation. So you would submit an 8,000 for the child. They would sign it. Because she's already on.
But we have the advantage of
Well, I mean, if you send in medical evidence, and we don't guarantee that there's going to be an answer in 90 days. We don't make a medical decision. I would say if you submit the medical, that's half the battle. We'll call you for we'll call the mom for the 8.1. We'll probably within a week. They try to do them on overtime. If that overtime allotment dries up, that's going to definitely push out the time frame on with that disability claim in there, so the DBS, disability determination box, can make the decision. You don't care how it gets there, you just want it there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I'll definitely follow up with our rep at disability determination to see her view on that issue, because that does sound like an issue, and it does.
Yeah, because our client came with the social security. Okay. We can start to see the children's needs and the children have so many issues.
Could use it, Leslie, what you're saying though, use the same criteria. It's just not going to be a SOAR case. This is like a little bit more thorough than a regular person doing SSA for any, applying for anybody. This is like blow by blow.
On any case, you tell us that the individual is homeless, I've never heard that we could put a homeless flag on a child's head.
We already placed them.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of, the SOAR definition of homeless is different than the general definition of homeless. They've got for us, we're like, you got to add, we can contact you. You're going to be there for a while? Yeah, okay, you're not homeless for us.
Yeah, so this is definitely a more inclusive definition, I would say.
But if you got a kid,
you
have the IPE, you have the psychiatrist notes, and you can submit medical evidence with your client. That's not a problem. That's not you being SOAR.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So like again, like the better you kind of paint the picture of your client, linking that disability, probably more well off the application is going to be.
The disability is not the same, right? There's like 3 or 4 supplemental forms that go with the child's disability.
Okay. Yeah, but that is an interesting topic, and I'll make sure to follow up with you guys, get more information. All right, so any other kind of experiences with SOAR, or things you've wondered about?
I think it's put through quickly. We get an answer quickly. The process goes very quickly. I was going to ask Leslie, though, there's a packet that we always get after we submit it, and then we get a packet from Social Security to fill out, and you have to handwrite it. It's not, and like everything we've already submitted. I don't know what it's called.
And it's coming from our office?
Yeah, it's coming from your office, and it's just a little bit more like, tell me what you do from when you wake up, go to bed. The daily functioning thing. But it's like really, you have to handwrite it, that one? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's usually in the back. I mean, when you go through, 32, on the 3368, that's the last few pages. If you didn't fill that out, then you sent it in, when you did the application online, if those questions were answered, then we have, because it asks, what are your
The
deals?
functional disability form
Yeah.
comes in and it asks almost some of the same questions, like the work.
Oh, that's not coming from us then. The ADL, the activities.
It's not a name on it.
Oh, yeah.
All that, and then
that comes from the Disability Determinations Office. It's like an immediate thing they send out.
Oh, because it just seems like, wait a minute, I just did all this, and now I'm submitting it again, and then. Yeah, it seems like the same thing, but yeah. Usually when I tell people, what do you think of this? You're getting it
because when we send it to the Disability Determination Office, which is probably a few days after we get it from, usually we're trying to get it out of there. So I guess that's the first thing to do.
That's why I make copies.
And they send a copy to if you're listed on there as a person.
Mm-hmm.
It says, is there somebody else who knows about your condition that we can write? They'll send them that.
Okay.
Great. And I think that's another good question that I can follow up with Peggy at Disability Determination about that form. See exactly what she's looking for.
Sometimes it's hard with that sheet to make it seem like it's hard to capture their cognitive abilities, which is what gets in the behavioral. Mm-hmm. Like they can do the physical stuff, but it's their behaviors that inhibit them from maintaining their employment.
That's usually when I put stuff in the comments section, and I always make sure that I write a lot to make sure everything's perfectly covered.
And even
there's that question about, does this person get along with other people? Yeah. Go ham on that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it is helpful. Like once you complete the online course and we do the fundamentals training, we do kind of get into that a little bit more. Kind of like what's the mentality behind a lot of these questions. And I'm going to pitch the MSR again, so the medical summary report. That's another good avenue to kind of detail like cases where your client did not get along well with other people, or he lives under a bridge because he doesn't like crowds, and things like that. We also kind of go into the mental diagnosis blue book that a lot of these offices use, so that you can kind of see the diagnosis that they have. You can look up what it is. A lot of the similar vocabulary in that book I would recommend using, because those are words that identify or that like flag in a lot of these caseworkers' evaluations.
Excuse me.
So that is useful.
I think one of the biggest barriers I have, I mean, some of the folks I'm working with have not embraced their diagnosis, and they haven't been in treatment, and they haven't had an assessment in a really long time, but they have no income, and it's just clearly they should be,
That's a good point.
I don't know what to do. I'm looking at it saying, how do I write this up?
And that's another thing that that I want to do with creating relationships with these health providers. If we can get a health provider to partner with us, we can schedule appointments for your clients to have them do just like a mental evaluation, psych evaluation.
Well, what? I mean, I guess I'm sort of like off track, but like DSS probably knows the folks that we're struggling with very well, because they are receiving cash assistance or have not been able to get through cash assistance. Seems like there should be a link from when they can't get through the DSS employment program for reasons based on mental health or developmental, they should be linking them up with this process. Like it just shouldn't be like, well, oh well, you don't get cash assistance.
Well, they do have that lab unit. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, and a lot of them are I have a lot of clients that are put on a mental health waiver. So they're still gonna get their cash, but they're not required to do like the work program.
But I have to write
But
I have to
then-
write and beg and plead
Yes.
to be like, you know, this person presents really well, but talk to them for more than 10 minutes.
Right? Yeah.
So I was able to get one person through the employment part, but she should clearly, I feel that she should be receiving SSI.
Yeah.
She shouldn't be struggling with cash assistance, you know.
Right. And that's where they'll
Because
stay
I mean,
unless they get something else.
where can she live on cash assistance?
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Yeah, that is, do you think, I mean, I heard you all kind of express your feelings about LAD, but are they like an organization you think we could maybe partner with or work with to kind of identify those clients that you're talking about, or?
Yeah, and I mean, I thought I was having positive experiences with LAD, but you know, I've been working with one individual since December, and I'm just perplexed by all that has happened to him within the system, but people that are supposed to be there to help him get through the system, and I just feel like it's been a nightmare for me to experience. He's clearly developmental. He was receiving SSI as a youth, no successful employment. He's been in his 40s. He now has an alcohol issue. You know, it's just,
Yeah, one thing after another.
why does it need to be this hard? And his case was closed because he was in rehab in Social Security.
Okay.
Because he couldn't make his DD determination assessment. But then he was, you know, I think Leslie, you gave me somebody to talk to, and they told me to put it through a dire need on the top because they're scheduling these ADL hearings 2 years from now. So, my gosh, the reason why his case was closed is because he couldn't make his appointment because he was in rehab, which DSS mandated. So, you know, it's just really hard to witness this, you know, but so I've been trying to contact somebody from the LAD unit to say, can you put, because I'm not the representative, they are. So they have to put dire need on the thing. They may have done it, but I haven't gotten word back.
Okay.
So
improved relationships
They
could
Bolivian
not hurt.
service have a special grant for that kind of, you know, you can refer him. They have that specific cases, like more difficult that we can handle. They probably can refer him, they go to legal service.
they are working with him now. They had his case, yeah. They've had it.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Sure.
And it's unfortunate because that's not the only case.
Yeah.
No.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, people who aren't homeless who are waiting 3 and 4 years.
I mean, he technically isn't homeless, but I'm sorry, I'm going to get upset, but he's been living on a chair in his like cousin's house. It's like a hugely dysfunctional family, and he's just been verbally abused since I've known him. And there's so many people living in this house, and there's so many people without income. So.
And you don't think he's able to work at all now?
I think he could work like through Access VR, but he can't afford housing. You know, I finally got him through DSS, so he's been approved since July, and we still haven't found an apartment, and he's with a health home. You know.
Yeah.
It's just very frustrating.
Yeah. Well, it definitely sounds like.
And if I could finish this training, then maybe I could do the SOAR application, but yeah.
Sure.
I'm on module 5.
Nice. Awesome.
Lights at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to touch base on with getting SOAR certified. I know it's a long process to go through the online course. Is there anything that you think can make it a little bit easier on you guys, or anything that might be more encouraging. When I pitch SOAR, I tell people it's going to take a little more than a month to complete only the online course. I think it turns off a lot of people.
Would there be a way to do like an in-house training instead of the online training? I think I personally learn better when I'm in a group of people, you know, bouncing ideas back and forth, and I know that there's components that you have to individually work on, like you work or something.
Right.
And maybe put it so that way people have to block out their schedule, go to a physical building, sit through the trainings, and then do the homework.
Possibly.
Yeah, because I've had to start over.
Right. Yeah. Because
I started it over like 3 times.
okay.
Yeah.
So frustrating.
Yeah.
And how long is
It's like a 16-hour course. Yeah.
That's if you don't have a real job.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you might do, and I think that's one of the biggest barrier is like, for my case, who has 2 cases.
Right.
I'm the director at Gerard Place. I only have 4, but for me, you know what I mean? For her to sit down and physically do that with every, you know, not doing
It
a real
becomes
job,
stressful
it
because it becomes stressful because your
months.
caseload
Yeah.
is, you know, you should be
Right.
working on stuff for your clients, but you know, it's like,
I took it home and did it.
Yeah.
When I did it, but not everybody's going to do that. I'm
Well-
not saying you
Yeah,
have to,
well, that's what I did too, but that's what you have to do.
I'm
And then so
thinking about doing that.
you're going
Right.
home and you're
Now that we're
doing
going
it
to
and then,
school.
yeah, you're doing
Yeah.
it, you're hammering it out like on the weekends, so.
Maybe.
It's just the 2-day training was when I did it was a lot better.
Yeah. Well, the only thing with that is that, and I'm not like the way people get certified. Unfortunately, I'm not in charge of that. But what I think could possibly work is maybe just have a consistent day out of the week where it's like we're doing class 1 and 2 today, and then maybe next week do 3 and 4, and then I'll offer those continuously. Does that sound like doable? Because I don't think we couldn't do the whole 16-hour class in one day. I kind of think that's unreasonable. The 2-day class, the only issue with that would be like everyone would need to bring a computer. We don't really have a computer lab here. Maybe we could use like the library or something like that. But yeah, I'll try to work out something to maybe encourage more participation in that way.
Yeah, because it would be really helpful for me as I'm trying to navigate through to be able to refer, because I think I contacted you for this individual to get him through the SOAR process.
What's your name?
Michelle from Prince of Nine People.
John.
You know, so just because, and then I just can't get him. I mean, he's all the way in South Buffalo. He's on foot, blah, blah, blah. So, you know.
Yeah. And that's another, we kind of talked about this earlier, I think before a lot of people were in here, but since we are kind of an exclusive network, not a whole ton of people are certified in this process, the way we kind of refer clients to one another, maybe if we kind of develop some kind of warm handoff where maybe you, like both case managers can meet the client to kind of just kind of like introductions, things like that. That might be better in the future. If that sounds more plausible with everyone.
I think it's just hard if the person doesn't fit the criteria of the agency that the other person works at.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
How come you can't just do a paper application?
I have, and it's been trapped in the whole, then he went to rehab, his case is closed, he's in a hearing,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, so SOAR is not really going to help.
And now I'm learning.
I mean, it's really not, I mean, this whole
no.
SOAR thing is not going to help
Right.
that. I mean,
But
can
had
go
I
home
been
and
able
talk
to get
case
through
all
the
day.
training, I would have known, like now I know so much more than when I started. Like,
And
you know.
call us and let us know that he can't go because he can't go.
I did. Oh, I did. I wrote letters and I mean, oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I
Okay.
can give you the people's names I talked to. I can name names.
Okay. Well, I mean, if anyone has any other kind of discussion points you want to talk about, or any other questions about the SOAR process, any other questions you want me to forward along to our representative at Disability Determinations, I'm willing to write them down and get back to you.
For FYI, I'm not just the SOAR, I'm the homeless liaison. So, and the other people that are associated with the SOAR in that list are the homeless liaison. So, I mean, if you're having trouble with the case, call us, in that local office, and most of everybody here is downtown, so call me if you have a case that is, plaguing you and you think that the note is not in the file and the DDS person is ignoring you or whatever that is. That's why.
Great. All right, any more? Oh, sorry, Colleen, I missed your question. What question did you want repeated?
Sorry, Andrew, can you hear me? I'm having trouble hearing people. Could you repeat what was just said regarding the homeless liaison? I missed a lot of that, and I wanted to hear that.
Right. So Leslie was pretty much just saying her position is the homeless liaison. All the applications that come into the office that are homeless go through her.
No, that's not what I said. What I
Okay.
said is I'm the homeless liaison if you're having trouble with the case.
Yes.
Okay, so the case is going into the office, you haven't heard something, the individual is homeless. Each office has a homeless liaison.
Right.
Contact that person and we can help you. We can follow, look into the case, see where it is, whatever. Doesn't mean that I can do anything. I can let you know, if you have the authorization, we have the 3288 in file. You have signed one of those within the last 12 months. We can help you. I can look into the case. But I have to have an authorization signed by the client in order to.
Oh, okay, great. Because I have one application out there currently, but I'm wondering, Allison, is there someone else we should be speaking to here in the Batavia Social Security office, or should we still contact you? Or
Yes, Batavia has their own.
Yeah, and that should be in your contact list that I gave you guys at the fundamentals training. I think Jennifer Maston is the representative out there.
Jennifer Maston. Okay. And that's in our folder that you gave us. I mean, for a while it's been no news is good news, but I do want to follow up on it.
Definitely. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions or comments? Great.
The only comment that I have, Andrew, is I'm sorry I will not see you tomorrow. I have another engagement.
All right, no problem, Deborah. Thanks for letting me know.
All right.
All right.
I do have one quick question, Andrew. The current application that I have going on, the person does have a significant work history, and the people I have been interacting with at the Batavia office aren't familiar with SOAR, and they told me that it was useless to apply for SSI because of his significant work history. Have other people encountered this where they encourage you to drop the SSI portion of the application, or?
We will do that if the individual's payment rate for the Social Security is going to be higher than the SSI rate, because all that will do is hold the individual's check up if they're past their 5-month waiting period. So there would be no,
okay.
Yeah, there'd be no advantage to that individual, and you could actually hold up his check for significant.
Okay, so it would be better for him if we had just done the SSDI instead of the SSI also. Okay.
We'll ask you to amend that. I mean, it's better to send it in and ask us, have him withdraw it, because then, you've covered all your bases.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's what I was wondering. Okay, great. Thanks.
So another thing, Andrew, remember I mentioned to you before that Batavia office is not familiar with the SOAR. Do we contact Jennifer Masson maybe and have an in-service with them?
Yeah, I definitely don't think that'll hurt. Maybe we can organize some kind of meet and greet.
Right.
We can try.
All right.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Do most Social Security offices know about the SOAR process?
Well, I mean, when we started this, they all received the packet, the same packet that you guys got, the requirements and everything. But it's one of those things, if you don't get one, in 6 months,
Right.
I'll break that in your head.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll do some refreshers in Batavia.
Okay.
Hey guys, so if there aren't any more questions, keep on that online course, and I'll make sure to reach out and we can schedule a fundamental training and all the other resources. All right.
Are we scheduling the next meeting?
All right. Bye, Andrew.
Okay, well, you guys want to hang on a little bit longer? We can schedule.
It's always better to have it free.
Yeah. Or probably October. We can shoot for October 25th. It'll be sometime, and if it's not that day, it'll be sometime within that week. I just want to make sure that disability determination and Social Security have the opportunity to come.
Okay.
Because I think that's one of the greatest resources or benefits of these meetings. All right, so let's shoot for October 25th as the next meeting.
October the 25th?
Yeah.
It'll be here.
It'll be right here.
10 to
11. All right.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. Do you have the updated, there was a sheet in there that has the TWP
I have a wrong
and
person.
SGA.
Oh, do you?
It wasn't
I got it.
updated for 2006.
I wear it like every weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Here, let me.
Is
it this one?
No, 39. I haven't, we're interested. I like the leopard stuff. I like all that kind of stuff.
I did them on my
This
first
to me is
time.
comfy.
Yeah, that's cute.
This is what they around here. Old Navy. $40.
That
I have to start.
Oh, well, no, you can just start on your own. You can go online. If you go to the hunting site, I did the COC and SOAR, and then it'll say, go to the training.
Right. So just start, just like that. You don't have to hold it.
No. That's why it's hard to get through, because it's not, like, there's no accountability to finish it, and other things take priority. It takes longer.
So everybody's studying on their own, and then we just have monthly meetings. Is that what it is?
Right.
I'm taking it, you don't need my help. It sounds like you have all that information.
It's just,
Are you certified yet?
no, I'm on
On their
level 5,
website, they
yeah.
probably have a new
But the
one.
other problem is, like, some of the folks have been, like,
Okay.
there's the one man, I think I was thinking to send you, he was street homeless, he was incarcerated, he was released into homelessness, he's not going to shelter, he's not had any work history whatsoever. I'm not really clear what his disability is, but I don't know, other than maybe a personality disorder, I don't know that he has a mental health.
Right, and that's the thing, if they don't have all this, why are you applying? But you know there's probably something there.
He was on SSI, but because he was incarcerated, no, I don't understand why the discharge planners are not re-engaging SSI.
Yeah.
Like, it just looks like, so I'm gonna work on, I'm in the reentry task force, so it's gonna be one of my things. If I do anything else in my life, I'm gonna make sure that if they have SSI going in, they have it coming out. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
I don't see why you can't put your name when it says it on all those applications to SOAR representative, even though you're not. Are they really gonna check your name?
I have no idea, and I don't wanna be the reason why
And then
something
get
gets,
your
you know.
backload.
No,
I
but
just
I'm
feel like
just
I always feel like I have too
That's
much.
what I'm saying.
It's not enough time.
The office here in Buffalo, though, if you put that on there, and you flag it, and she's gonna flag that.
Closed
Process is faster.
So I can't imagine.
I don't see how it's fair.
No, but I'm looking at like, I'm going through the training, it's like, oh my gosh, I've not
It's just
done
too
any
long.
of these applications correctly. Like,
Even
You just get that checklist and everything, and just make sure you go online
I
and
was
find
thinking
out
about
when
taking
you're
it myself.
okay.
Just to see what
Yeah.
it
That's
was
what I was
like.
trying to say to you.
Oh, yeah?
So where am I gonna go and find this guy? And, you know, you probably know more than me. I can put it
I can't
together
imagine
with
it
you,
could be
but you
well,
have
that's
that
what you said, to get all of his history and then go back to you.
And then,
But,
yes.
you know, I lost track of
Well, that's what I'm
it.
saying, it's so hard, and you got
I have
500
a
other
guy,
things to
I
do,
just
right?
finished my,
Well, call
SOAR
me if you
and
need.
submitted
Okay,
it.
well, I appreciate your willingness to help.
No problem.
You know what happened, actually, now that I'm really thinking about it, I sent for his
But in the meantime, I work
corrections
from Netterville.